We talked a lot about scaffolding and how that can be used to support kids in the zone of proximal development, the area where you know what they can use to be successful. We talked a lot about language and the importance of language as a developmental tool, how language forms, and how language can be used more and more in the classroom. So now we want to talk about pretend play. Now many of you have heard in the past, and if you haven't, you're about to, where we at Family Compass stand on pretend play. Now we've called it the work that kids do. We've talked about the importance of pretend play, kind of the fun stuff. We've talked about pretend play being a vital developmental training that promotes healthy thinking, relationships, and overall well-being. Kind of the opposite of play. But all those words are very important because it is developmental training. It is promoting healthy thinking. It is promoting relationships and overall well-being. Now today, we want to talk about a lot about play, what Vygotsky thinks about play, and how tools of the mind sees play and pretend play, and how it can be promoted in the classroom. And I'll talk a little bit about all those things. But why is imaginative play and pretend play so important for the young mind? I mean, isn't playing, particularly pretend play, something the child does between the important activities of going to school, going to their lessons, or doing the worksheets that none of you give to the kids, but the parents seem to find somewhere and the kids are doing every day? Pretend play is what you do between that stuff. It's not the important stuff. When you encourage, support, and give time for pretend play, you're actually providing the child the opportunity to engage in the most complex and sophisticated way of thinking and interacting during at that age. It is by far the hardest thing they have ever done in all their 3, 4, 5, or 6 years. The beauty is why we see pretend play as nature's gift to humanity. It's the hardest thing you'll ever do. It's also the most fun you can have. So how does that work? How? So pretend play. So we all play pretend. Did everybody here play pretend? I play pretend. I played lots of pretend. I love to play Star Trek. In fact, I can play pretend by myself. On my dad's bed, pretending I was Captain Kirk, being beat up by the Zoran, who was that crazy lizard creature that I found myself battling on some faraway planet. But I'm getting beaten up, and I'm having a grand old time. The whole world of space was opened up for me. And then when my friend Evan came over, well, he loved Star Trek too. So he got to play Scotty. And I was Captain Kirk. So it was great. But then I grew up. I'm not doing pretend anymore. But did I learn anything? Because at the same time I was going to school. What did I learn for pretend play? Why do we keep saying it's the important stuff? How does playing pretend in 3, 4, and 5 translate into skills you need as an adult? What? Imagination. That's right. The world of imagination does a lot for you. Imaginative play helps you move from the concrete to the symbolic. You go from, these are blocks, and I stack them here, or I'm hopping on one foot, and that's what I'm doing. And I'm hopping on another foot, and that's what I'm doing. That's concrete. I'm stacking these things, and now, you know what? Those things are stacked. I'm hopping, and that's what I'm doing. I'm hopping. With pretend play, we go from, well, these aren't blocks. They're actually the tables at my restaurant, and they have to be here. And I have a restaurant now. Or, I'm not just hopping on one foot. I'm hopping from rock to rock. Because if I don't step on those rocks, my feet's going to disappear in the lava pit. I'm actually on the side of a freaking volcano that's erupting, and I've got to get away. So I better know how to hop. I'm doing a concrete action of hopping, but I've added to it the world of imagination. So why is that important? Why do we need to do that? Why do we need to do that? We need to do that because several years ago, they decided we need to put the most complex machine ever created in the history of known history. Known history meaning because they did even more with Atlantis gazillion years ago. But in our known history, the most sophisticated machine had to go millions and millions of miles and land on the planet Mars, safe enough so it could transmit back information. You think this is complicated. This is a block compared to what's on one of those Mars rovers. But how do we get it to land on planet Mars with nobody there to check for it? You know what they did? They used their imagination. They thought outside of the box. They thought, things just can't come down like that. What if we encase the whole thing in a bunch of big bubbles, like bubble wrap? And then we can shoot it from the little spacecraft that went around Mars, and we'll just shoot it down to the planet. You know what happened? It went boom, ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. And then it opened up, and everything was safe inside. The ability to think of that idea to do that is the same kind of mental gymnastics, the same kind of thinking that is first promoted in imaginative play. Thinking that I'm not just hopping, I'm hopping from rock to rock on the side of a volcano. That's why pretend play is important. The child in pretend play learns to take a role and a perspective other than his or her own. I'm not yelling at mommy or the teacher. The lion is yelling at mommy or the teacher. And the lion gets the opportunity to say, roar, no! If I ever did that, bad things would happen. And I never want to go there. But the lion can go there. Why is that important? Well, down the road, the same skill is needed and used every day. Now, as I look out, I see everybody sitting up straight, being very attentive, listening, maybe even using a little self-talk, or maybe a little talk with somebody next to them to reiterate a point like, God, isn't he good? Or, this is I really gotta go. I didn't know this was going to be 3 hours. Did you know 3 hours? But you're doing things, you're an audience here. You're acting a lot different than when you would be at home getting ready to go to bed. Maybe lying on a couch, just letting it all hang out. You're going to talk to your boss differently than you talk to your husband. You're going to talk to your children differently. You want your children to act a certain way in school and another way at home. That's taking perspective. And that's what you do when you do pretend play. I'm the lion that can say, no, roar, to my mother or the teacher. That's not me, but I want to know what it feels like to do that. What would that be like? I can use my imagination. I can use pretend to see what that's like. That's why pretend play is important. Imagine play helps with regulation. We talked a little bit before about language and self-talk, and how self-talk can be very helpful in regulating. I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, or squeeze, squeeze, or oh, thunder, that's just got burping, it's just got burping, it's okay. But imaginative play can also help you with regulation. Because I want to run around with the other kids, but I can't, because I'm pretending to be the guard to the secret doorway to Candy Mountain that only the knights know. So I need to stay here to guard it because the dragon's going to come, and he's going to try to get in, and I've got the sword that can stop the dragon. Now I want to run around with the other kids, but I can't, because my job is to stay here in the back door to Candy Mountain before they come. So I'm not going to run around. I'm going to know my place, and I'm going to play my part. Even though I feel like I want to do something else, I want to try and do this. And as adults, we need to know when to hold them, when to fold them, when to walk away, and when to get the heck out of Dodge. Right? We also need to know when to act, how to act. A lot of that gets great practice when we're little kids playing pretend, playing our part, keying our role off of other people. It helps with long-term and short-term planning. So, well, in order to have the dragon come to Candy Mountain, and for us to go through the back door, you know what we need? We need a Candy Mountain. What do we got for Candy Mountain here? Well, I don't see any candy, and I don't see any nothing, but I do see a lot of pillows and blankets. And I once made a fort with my cousin Johnny out in Idaho, and it was really cool. I think I can do it again here. So we build our Candy Mountain. We play, oh no, but we need a back door. Oh, that's not going to work. Oh, let's grab these things over here. Let's use a chair, and then the chair, and then we can go underneath, and we can do all this stuff. We do a lot of planning before we actually start playing. Well, that's planning. We always use planning. I did a lot of planning before I got up here. And I was supported with wonderful scaffolding, motivation, encouragement by my fellow colleagues in Family Compass to come up with this. But we did a lot of planning before we did here. That all can relate back to when I was playing Captain Kirk in Star Trek on my bed. I knew that on the floor it would hurt a lot because I had to get beat up, because Kirk always got beat up a lot. And he was always tumbling and doing all this stuff. It was great. I want to do that too, so I need a bed to do it. So I need to figure out where to go in order to do it. And when Evan came over, forget it. I mean, we went through the roof in terms of the stuff we would plan out and do. So short and longer term planning can really be benefited and practiced through pretend play. Pretend play promotes some of the most important things we want in our kids. Something that I think is given short shrift. We don't spend enough time on it. And we don't honor it as much. And when we see it, we don't spend an adequate amount of time on it. And that is self-determination, mastery, and confidence. And most important, within a social context. Competence, confidence, mastery. These kids spend a lot of time, and many of you have seen this before, being led. Okay, and then we're going here, and then we're going there. Come on, you got to get up, you got to go. I know you want to watch the show, but we need to do this. I've already decided what you're going to do. And it'll be a lot of fun, and you'll benefit from it. And you'll have fun. I know you will. Don't give me that, I don't want to go, let's go attitude. Just get in the car and let's go. And you'll see when we get there. They spend a lot of their time being led, and being told what to do, and being directed, and being corrected. But when they create pretend play, you know what happens? They create their own world. We did it. We created our candy nut. We did these pillars. We created this entire world and are the masters of that world. We are the masters of our destiny. We can do it all. I can play school. I can be the teacher. I can create a restaurant, just like my mom and dad, and I can be the restaurateur. I can do those things. I'm in charge now. Finally, I get a chance to do it all. That's what pretend play can do. And we need confidence. We need confidence. I don't think I need to go on why we need it as adults. We do it all the time. Well, boy, if that's solidified when you're 3 or 4 or 5, if you have those experiences, I can do it all, and I can succeed, and people around me like what I do, and the most important people like what I do, which are my friends. Well, how much of a leg up are you going to get? How much or more are you going to benefit from that kind of pretend play than you would, in the same way, writing about building a candy nut or doing a worksheet? So pretend play helps with that self-determination and mastery. And pretend play is all about relationships. It's all about taking others into account. It's all about sharing ideas, even negotiating. We can't have 3 unicorns. We only need 2 unicorns. What we need are 2 unicorns and a puppy and a cat and the alien. So you can't be, no, I know you can't be a unicorn. No, stop it, shut up. I better regulate down here. Don't say shut up, don't say shut up, don't say shut up. Okay. Maybe, you know what? You can be the alien pretending to be a unicorn. That's the way we'll do it. So you're negotiating. You're solving problems. You're getting together. You're co-creating your own destiny with others. And you're managing emotions. You're managing conflict. I don't want to be the alien being a unicorn. I want to be the unicorn. I want to be a unicorn. I want to be a unicorn. Okay. Okay. You can be the unicorn. You won't have the alien. But that means we don't need the ship over there. Okay? Okay. Good. I know. Okay. So I know it's okay. Listen. No, 3 unicorns is great. No problem. We're giving a little empathy. We're understanding emotions. We're experiencing emotions ourselves, experiencing emotions of others, and doing something about it. So often, when you're doing some of the hardest stuff, that's when you can be the most emotional. And you're going to get that practice on how to regulate yourself, how to calm down once they realize, yeah, they listen to me, I get to be the unicorn. Or you're helping somebody else, so they don't just say, I'm just going to take my stuff and go home. So it's all about relationships. It's all about emotions and empathy. So that's to play. That's pretend play. So what's it look like? What is this pretend play? And are they still doing it today? There's been a lot of talk about our kids actually doing pretend play. And are they doing enough pretend play? Is play in general getting too short a shrift in our society today? Well, there has been some research around it. And what we've begun to learn is, in fact, that children many times are no longer playing in the mixed groups. The 3-year-olds are playing together, and the 4-year-olds are playing together, and the 5-year-olds are playing together. So what you're losing is the benefit of the younger kids learning from and experiencing this very complex play with an older child, a guy, or older children having the opportunity to model things. And they get that great praise, like, I showed him how to do something, and he did what I said. I'm pretty cool. I can tell them what to do, and they can do it. I kind of like this. We're losing that opportunity when kids aren't playing in mixed groups. Children are engaged in more and more structured, adult-directed activities and lessons. We're going to wake up, and you're going to have an hour TV, and then we're going to go to school. And then we have to go to your riding lesson. And then we've got to take your sister to ballet. And then you both got to rush home because you both have piano lesson. And then remember after dinner, Dad's downloading some new worksheets. When you're done with that, you can play. Or why don't you just play in the car? Here's a DS. They're playing with more video games. And these video games are great. They're wonderful. They're a lot of fun. But more and more idle time for the children are being spent playing with a lot of these computer games. And all of these factors, we think, could be having a limiting effect on the amount of time kids can engage in pretend play. And also, and more importantly, the quality of that pretend play. And in your handout, on page 4 of your handout, on the back side, are, and this is, I believe this is from the Tools of the Mind book, the signs of immature pretend play and signs of mature pretend play. I won't go through all of these, but maybe highlight a couple of them. That maybe the play themes are limited to only familiar scenarios. I play house. I'm a daddy, and I've got a mommy, and we've got a kid, and they eat and they go to sleep, and that's what they do. Or we play school. And we play school exactly the same way. The same actions are repeated again. I always play house the same way. I don't deviate from it. I don't build on it. I don't allow new ideas to come, either organically or having a new play meeting. It's always the same and very structured, and that's our pretend play. Mature pretend play would be the kids are able to come up with their own fantasies, their own scenarios. They might be playing house, but they're playing house on a spaceship. Or they might be playing house, but it quickly dissolves into a search for treasure. They're able to elaborate scenes within the play scenario, so it's not always the same. The doctor plays doctor, but somebody breaks their leg, and then somebody has a cold, and then somebody doesn't like the doctor, or somebody's arguing about their bill because they were listening to mom complain about their bill, and now they're playing that. And they just thought about that on the spot. You're creating constantly new things are coming up. You're using and strengthening and practicing that imagination that SpongeBob talks about when you're doing that kind of pretend play, when it's mature pretend play. So there are signs that you can look for, and I thought it was a great example in the book, so I wanted to have that for everybody. So you can take that with you and look for those. And as you see kids in the neighborhood, your own kids are in a classroom, take a look at those things and tell yourself, is that mature pretend play or immature pretend play? So, scaffolding, pretend play in the classroom. So how can you guys support this nurturing, fun, and fulfilling environment and still keep the peace and still get what you done, what you need to get done within that allotted amount of time? Because remember, cars are lining up. They're not going to wait for you. So you've got stuff you've got to do. Well, how can you create an environment for pretend play in there? Well, Tools of the Mind has some ideas. But first, think about how effective pretend play can be within a group. I mean, practically speaking, you could take 4 or 5 kids and you can help them create pretend play about the Olympics. And they've set up some things and you see they're great. Well, now you've got 4 or 5 kids doing some of the most advanced thinking they've ever done, cooperation, self-regulation, and you're just sitting back and watching. But you take those other 4 kids and you want them to learn about, say, letters or learn about numbers or another discrete skill. It's going to be a lot harder to teach 4 or 5 of those kids without doing one at a time and then the other and then the other. So look at what pretend play can do. Think of all the skills we just talked about negotiating, regulating yourself, taking perspective, showing empathy, problem solving, are all done by just getting some pretend going. Think about it, if you had to discreetly teach each and every one of those skills to a same group, it would probably be a lot more time consuming. So maybe you could actually save a little time by allowing more pretend play. So the first thing you want to do, and the first thing the Tools of the Mind talks about, is giving the kids time for pretend play. Sounds simple, right? Okay, it's pretend play time. consider building maybe up to 1 hour of pretend play. I said it, 1 hour. What, 3 hours in the morning preschool about? A third of the time. Maybe even less with all the lining up and all the transitions. That's right, an hour of pretend play. Because think about it. We just talked about how children are limited in the amount of time they have available to them for pretend play. Whether it's, I got the same group of kids, or my day's already structured, or I've got all these other competing things that will do all the pretend for me. It'll create the world for me. It'll create the characters for me. It'll do all the stuff. All I got to do is click the buttons really fast. And maybe when I'm an adult, I can, run a drone or do the Mars lander. But more than likely, these skills aren't really going to translate much into adulthood, other than I got fast thumbs. How about that? Huh? The thumbs go. But that's about it. So we talked about the importance of children investing more time in pretend play so they can do more mature pretend play. Well, your class might be the best environment, the very best environment, and for some kids, maybe the only time in the week that they can play pretend in your classroom. So as you think, how am I going to do an hour? I'm saying, yeah, if you can, build up to an hour, because this might be the only chance these kids are getting on a regular basis to practice these skills. Now, giving that time for pretend play doesn't mean pulling kids out for specials. It doesn't mean, okay, everybody's playing, now I want to see Billy and Mary, now come on over here, we're going to work on drawing letters with Play-Doh. Okay, you're done. Okay, you two over here, I'm going to pull you up. It means, for that period of time, that group is playing pretend, and that's what you're doing. And you, the teachers, are more participants in the play, but you're more guides, you're not teachers. Avoid the teachable moments. They're doing the Olympics and they're trying to figure out how to do something. You realize, oh, what a great opportunity to teach them about more or less and counting and stuff. Don't do it. Let them figure it out. And maybe they get 1, 5, and 7, and 3, but they're fine with it. They're fine with it. It's their world they're creating. And maybe in their world, getting the numbers in sequence really isn't important. So avoid the opportunity for those teachable moments. You want to guide them. When you do get involved and you're playing pretend, talk to the character, not the child. So Debbie is a panda bear. And Debbie's doing something, and Debbie's playing, and Debbie's getting into where some other kids are doing something else. And you don't say, Debbie, stop, don't do that, come on over here, keep playing with your friends. You say, uh-oh, hey, Panda, I see you going over, uh-oh, Panda, you could fall out of that tree into that other group. Okay, and Debbie comes down. When you get involved, talk to the characters, and enriches them, and it enriches the idea in them that I am a panda, I'm not Debbie anymore. Teachers now calling me Panda. I mean, I must be really good. Hello, Academy Awards. Because I think I just fooled a teacher. She called me Panda. I really must be a panda. I am a panda. Yes, look at me. I'm a panda. That's what you can do. So you talk to the character. When you get involved, find a way through the story to get involved with them. And that will enrich your experience as well. Don't direct too much. Ask what if. Boy, looks like you guys are really getting ready for a fun Olympics. Oh, wow, what a great obstacle course. I wonder what's going to happen at the end, because it looks like you're running real fast and there's a wall right there. Oh, you're going to curve. Whoa, you mean you're going to curve the end, and then you've got all that time to fall down on, this looks like a cool obstacle course. I wish I was going to them. I can go to the Olympics too, and now you're in the story. So you wonder, you ask what if, you guide them, you don't solve their problems. Join them in their problem solving. And problem solving always begins with, I wonder what would. I think maybe. These are the words to use. Maybe you provide themes for them. One other very important thing too. Sorry about this. Now some of you, this will be easy. For many of you who have a preschool built as a cohort, or have the idea of cohorts involved in your preschool, benefit from parents coming in. Now, I ask a third of your time, pretend play. Pretty much let the kids do what they want. But be involved, but don't be too involved. Do it this way, do it that. I'm asking for some boots on the ground to be around the kids. Maybe some parents can come in, and for that pretend play time, be those facilitators. They can join in the pretend play, but you've got an adult there as a guide to make sure the outer boundaries are being respected. of the world that they've created, and you've got somebody in there that can help and enhance them. So parents can be a wonderful way. I don't know what to do. I can't teach kids. I mean, all I got to do is go in and play with them like I do at home. Sign me up. Great. I got my volunteer hours. My karma's doing good. I love the teacher. And I get out of the house. So I really do need that babysitter, Dad. So like, we need her for 3 more days a week. You provide themes and ideas for the kids beyond their daily experiences. Now here's where you can use story time. Now, have you ever seen anybody go totally flat? I mean totally flat. So you can lay them down on a plane and they no longer exist? No. But in the world of Flat Stanley, you do. So maybe you can play pretend with that idea. How can you change yourself and what would that be like? You can play moves. Let's play Madagascar. But let's play Madagascar. I'll be the lion. I'll be the zebra. I'll be the giraffe. But we're not going to follow the story. We're not going to Morocco. We're not going back to the zoo. We're not going to an island. We're going in a spaceship. And we're going to go to another planet. A planet where they've never heard of zoos. What would that be like? So you take ideas and you offer them. You give the kids some things that they might be able to play with. You might have specific or creative props. Now you could have the Buzz Lightyear costume. Or you could have the lion costume. Or maybe you have some different colored blankets. Maybe some sheets. Maybe some tissue paper boxes. Maybe you've got toilet paper rolls. Different things around the house. It's not junk unless you call it junk. Think about this. I'll use another example from space. Has anybody seen the movie Apollo 13 or know about it? When the Apollo missions went up and they were going to land on the moon, well, something went wrong. Something went really wrong. Something blew up on the spaceship. You know what? I don't. Who messed up? I don't think I know that. Like, who screwed it? Somebody screwed up because that thing exploded in space. So they're trying to get back. And one of the problems they had to solve was oxygen. They were breathing in fine, but there was too much CO2 in that capsule. And they needed a way to filter it out. And what broke that system. So they didn't know what to do up there. So the guys on the ground went in a big room, and somebody came in with a box of stuff and dumped it on the table and said, these are the parts that they have available on the ship right now that isn't being used to keep that ship going. Build a CO2 filtration system out of those items. They had nothing to do with CO2 filtration systems. There were parts and pieces, and they had to think outside of the box, take a different perspective, see the things in a different way in order to build it, and they did it within the amount of time, and they were able to get back to Earth safely. So that's what we talk about, by provide them with things and let their imagination come up with a use for them. You want to help children plan before they start playing. And Tools of the Mind talks a lot about this. For little kids, it could be just a question. So what are you going to play? Oh yeah, you're going to play cops or robbers? Yeah. Who are the cops going to be? Oh yeah, and robbers, huh? Yeah. Ooh, did something bad happen? Oh, a bank, huh? Yeah. I wonder if it was a big bank. Because I go to a big bank. Oh, it was a little bank? So you help them plan by talking about it. Maybe with older kids, they write out the story. Either with pictures, or maybe they cut things out of magazines to help them. Or if they're maybe a little bit older and they're writing, they write out the story. They plan it out. They figure out what they're going to do first before they do it. And it's a wonderful way to teach planning. It's a wonderful way to teach cooperation. And a lot of this problem solving and negotiation. A whole other level of pretend play gets inserted when you spend a little time talking about what you're going to do before jumping right in and doing it. You want to model negotiating skills or problem resolution where necessary. Again, it might not be your problem to solve. We talked a little bit before about the struggle with scaffolding. We want to see that struggle occur. Well, maybe the argument is just the struggle that they need to learn how to come to a resolution together. So maybe you model negotiating skills. Yeah, I know, I hear you. That's a great idea for Candy Mountain to blow up with a nuclear bomb, but, you know, I think somebody said something about maybe having something underground, and then you connect the two. So, yeah, you know, that's a great idea, but then it's all gone. What's going to happen to you guys? Because I think Candy Mountain's going to disappear. Well, you guys disappear. Oh, you won't disappear. Oh, because you took the magic pill, which makes you not be affected by the blast. Okay, great. Hey, you're on your own. So you model for them negotiating skills. You model by wondering, hey, maybe this could happen, maybe that could happen. Now, for some kids, pretend plays no problem at all. They can do it all the time. They can even do it when they're 45. But for some kids, it's a little bit harder. For some kids, they might be a little more shy. For other kids, they might not be ready to do this as well as. For some kids, there might be something going on with their development, which makes it a little harder. And Truth Little Mind does spend time in their book, as well as in the growing and evolving curriculum that is in schools today. They talk a lot about supporting kids with developmental delays or challenges. There's some simple things. Maybe for the shy or inexperienced player, you give them a specific role. You know what, I think you're big, you're strong. I bet you could be a great guard, because that dragon, he's going to want to come through this door. We need somebody big and strong to just stand there like this. And when the dragon comes, you got to say, no, get away. You got, hey, come here, let's practice that. No, get away. That's right. And wait, you had to stand to it. You got it. You stand right at the door to Canyon Mountain. You give them a little bit. You give them a role that they can do, that they can be confident in, That's part of the story. Maybe you give them a little practice beforehand as well. You talk about their role, what it is they need to do to ensure that they understand. And sometimes for them, or for a larger group, and I think this isn't kids with any kind of challenges, so I think this benefits for everybody. Taking time to pause and say, so where are we at? So, yeah, oh that's right. Remember we got on the boat and we got stranded on this island because of that big storm. Wasn't that cool, that storm with the lightning and stuff? And now we're almost reaching Canyon Mountain. I think this is the part where the dragon's going to come. Oh, the dragon's coming. Okay, I'm ready. So you summarize it, and then, oh yeah, I know where I'm supposed to be. I got kind of a little lost because it started to sleet outside, and I wanted to look at that, or there was a big noise in the building, and I was wondering what that was. So I lost kind of the last 30 seconds. Oh good, I'm back on track now. So the adult or guide can provide that, oh boy, looks like you're having a great story. Wait, let me get this straight. I mean, you guys were on a ship, and I heard a lot of banging. That was a storm, and now you're, oh my gosh, is that a Canyon Mountain? And they're ready to go. So you can insert yourself and kind of summarize for the kids. Kind of that's where they are. Feed them lines if necessary. Nothing wrong with that either. You know, there's a lot of line feeding going on here right now. If I were to say, I'm pretending to be an adult, I'm pretending to be a professional up here, I'm getting a lot of lines fed to me from this group here. I'm getting encouragement, but sometimes I get a social like, and that's very helpful to me. So thank you for feeding me the lines with your looks and gestures. Keep me on track. So that's pretend play. That's the importance of pretend play. The fact that we believe, and I believe, that the kids aren't doing it enough today. The importance of pretend play with how you are taking perspective, problem solving, working together, coming up with new ideas, fitting ideas together, weaving together a tapestry of your own world that you've done yourself. That's pretend play. This is the age when it starts. This is the age, this is the golden age of pretend, is when you're in preschool, and as you begin to leave preschool. And the more you do it, the better you get at it, the more fun it is, the more you're encouraged. Guess what? You're going to keep doing it. It'll change, but using your imagination will never go away. So that's pretend play.